And coming to life from Great Gobi B, here in Mongolia, desert region with arid mountains and grassy steppes, home to nomadic tribes and wild Przewalski horses, and I'm sure Sioras has been there once or twice. We are, of course, here today with the start of what is about to be a jam-packed month of StarCraft 2, but it all begins here with the qualifiers of course, the first come, first serve region, the prioritized region, IMO, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Mongolia, Japan. I am, of course, Yakuzaku of the Zaku, and with me today is El Motel cerca de quien ingresa cuartos para jarra de cerveza de rice, like underscore VIP. How we doing, like?
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, it's been so long, oh so long since we've casted a DreamHack qualifier. The last one was DreamHack Last Chance last year in in December. So it's been
time ago, yep.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been so long they even kind of changed the format a little bit. I think that's the most exciting part about DreamHack this year. Sure, we may have lost the DreamHack, but at the same time, mate, offline events, they're coming back.
They're back. They're back. The offline events are back, along with the crowds, the audiences, and most importantly, the open bracket at each and every one of these for players who, you know, weren't quite able to qualify from the regionals. There is another chance over there, and you bet that we are going to teach whoever our Ducklings qualify for that some Spanish.
That's the exciting part, right there. If you qualify for those grand finals, for those, I guess, season finals they're calling it, or it used to be, you get to go to Valencia. But there's also going to be an open bracket as well. I have heard that there are going to be already some players confirmed. I know Paddy Mac is going, Maples is going. A bunch of people are like buying tickets and just going straight there. Oh god. So yeah, exciting times. So finally, I mean, I forget what an offline event used to look like. It's been so long. It's been so long.
I didn't know they even existed. I thought they were just a myth perpetrated by, you know, the older esports fans. They're like, yeah, back in my day we had stadiums and we had people going to the play. I'm like, what? Really? That's the thing?
Tournaments weren't all online? What are you even talking about?
You mean the players actually had to bring their mouse and keyboard with them, and they had to, like, you know, measure the distance? It's like, what?
Oh god, it's been so long. So welcome back, everyone, and we are starting off our marathon of DreamHack casting with Taiwan, Hong Kong. Of course, the bracket just went live, so you can take a look at the brackets yourselves. And this is the open qualifier. There are already some people seeded into the closed and even main event.
Yes, there are a couple of players who, if you follow this channel, you know, you're probably very, very familiar with. I know Gogo Joey is over there in the main event, but always, if I'm not mistaken, is in the closed qualifiers already, as along with Rex. No, I think Rex is actually in the main event as well. Nazin is here today. Look, a lot of players is what I'm getting at, that we have been able to catch quite a bit in these DreamHack events, but also outside DreamHack events. Pretty exciting to me, though, here, Light, is that we do actually have a player here playing from Taiwan today who has been making a pretty big name for himself in the Master Swan Open. No, yeah, it wasn't Sea Duckling Open, was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Master Swan Open.
True. That is, of course, KnockKnock. KnockKnock is going to be in today's qualifier as well. We have casted him in these qualifiers before, so this isn't his first time, but I guess it's the first time after, you know, kind of being forged in the flames of those Master Swan Opens. So, yeah, we're just gonna be diving right into it. I mean, you called it. That's exactly who we're going to be casting.
Hell yeah! There were actually two potential ones that I was looking at. I was like, what is Light going for here? But I flipped the coin and I made it out big. This is why we gamble.
Oh no!
Don't gamble. Actually, yeah, legally I'm supposed to say don't gamble.
Oh my god! Not like this. No, I see Chase in the chat. Don't give him ideas. Not like this.
Man, I'm excited now. We're in the lobby.
Yes, we are now in the lobby. Again, exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the bracket. There's a reason why we wanted to dive on this series specifically, and that's because it does kind of lead into something else. Ideally, of course, our boy Beastlork is on the way. Is at the towards the lower end of the bracket, and hopefully we can catch him later on.
I have a slight concern here, Light. I think I might have downloaded wrong logos, man.
Oh, what do you mean?
Because when I go to no team and whatnot,
Oh
as
yeah,
I scroll down, it says like Clem, Zest, whatnot, those players.
oh. We may have the wrong.
Yeah.
We may have the wrong one.
I may have downloaded the wrong one.
It may not have been updated in our Dropbox, but it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. It's not the biggest of deals.
Set to no team for now.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good.
Well, speaking of good, we are of course here kicking things off on a good old reliable map. It is 2,000 atmospheres. LE, here they are making a little bit of a comeback, and what better way to do it than here? Of course, in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a Teal Terran player coming down from the land of Taiwan. I know Steel told me which clan this was, but I don't remember at all. We have KnockKnock.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the other Taiwanese Terran player. He is red, representing the classic team Naive Dream World. It is AresRush. And when it comes to the team that KnockKnock is on, I guess KnockUp Team NV, is that?
Right, it's coming back to me, yeah.
Oh god, the waifus, mate, they're infesting more teams on the Korean server. Aye.
Well, we'll see if the waifus stay consistent though, because I'm fairly certain that this is the same clan. This is the same clan tag or clan decal that they've had since a year ago.
Shaking my head, mate. Shaking my head. Oh god. But yeah, you were touching on it earlier, and I'm pretty excited, right? KnockKnock, we've been seeing him grow over the past couple of months. He has been competing here in these DreamHack qualifiers. Hasn't had the most success, but again, you know, because he has been putting in a lot of hours, maybe this can be a bit of a breakout performance for him.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of players who there's always room for a wildcard player or two, right? Coming into these open qualifiers and later in the closed qualifiers. We do have 2 open qualifiers for the event. 2 will qualify today and 2 will qualify on Thursday. And that's something that you never want to count players out from. I know specifically from Taiwan, Hong Kong, last season, we had the major breakout performance from Mystery Man, otherwise known as Kuma, making it to the actual main event for the first time.
Yeah. Exactly. Mystery Man popped off last season, and that's the thing, like, there's room for that, especially because, like, there are certain players who are currently, like, MIA. I think Psyark is the big one who we didn't see this season. And in the qualifiers, like, yo, if we're missing, I don't even know, did Sioris check in?
He did not, unfortunately. He signed up, but yeah, missed the check-in time by a little bit. I noted that there was a little bit of a lack of Japanese flags when I looked in the bracket, and I thought, man, who is missing?
Yeah.
Psyark and Vasravanya.
Yeah, Vasravanya, like, that's another one who I believe made it to the closed qualifier last time. Maybe, I do remember casting them at least, so they're not here. Meanwhile, we just see a little bit of an engagement here. KnockKnock did end up committing here to try and force an engagement, to try and get this building SV, but it didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah. Not quite as decisive here. AresRush losing only a single Reaper to that, and now doesn't have to worry about harassment for quite some time to come.
Yeah, exactly. So KnockKnock is, starting off a little bit behind, especially because he did end up throwing away any kind of map control he wanted to get with those Reapers and Hellions, so now he's just chilling here at home. And so far, nothing else really to take that much note of. Like, they're both playing it safe, both working on their Cyclones.
Yeah, interesting that they both did prioritize a mine as well to put in the front door.
Yeah, again, just incredibly safe. Like, if either one of them did decide to open up with something a little bit more aggressive, like a Banshee or even a drop, they're both kind of ready for that sort of thing. So, very similar styles coming out from both of them. You know, very much so a mirror matchup here.
Which is about to be expected here. These are Taiwanese Terran players. They do have a very distinct style to them. The one player who does deviate a little bit is, if I'm not mistaken, was it Nasen? Who really plays a lot different. KnockKnock losing the Cyclone, unfortunately, there.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Ares is denied entry into main base, and yeah, I think it was I may be remembering wrong, but I think it was Nazen who beat Expect last season. I know there was a TvT that went in a very unexpected way. No pun intended there.
One player.
Yeah. Where for a long time, Expect was the big dominant Terran force in the region, and then that was kind of shifting last season, and it wasn't as clear-cut as it usually is.
Yeah, that was a really wild winter, but now as we're getting into Valencia, as the temperatures are heating up a little bit, maybe we'll see a little bit of a return, or maybe not. That's what's always exciting to me, Lloyd, about these DreamHack Open qualifiers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, we get to see like who is still active and what kind of form they're in, and also how they've grown over time, right? We're lucky enough where we've been casting the Taiwan-Hong Kong qualifiers for years now, now that I think about it. And yeah, it's really cool to see everyone back again. Speaking of being back, by the way, Ares is finally deciding to push out. He does have his 2 Ravens, pushing out with 2 tanks as well. Not the largest force, but of course with 2 Ravens, like there is always a lot of potential.
A ton of potential offensively with those auto turrets and with those disables as well. KnockKnock has Ravens as well, so it really will come down to the tank positioning and the Raven control here. Oh, but I was gonna say, KnockKnock already took a couple of losses earlier, now losing a little bit more. These will stack up.
Oh
as the game continues, he may lose a Raven.
Oh my god!
Not quite.
Only a single shot off as well. Here we go. The Ravens do dive in, and they will be able to disable both of these tanks. But the tanks of KnockKnock were also disabled, so nothing really going on here. Oh no, the auto turret's not in range.
No, turret. That's a major feels bad, man. And now it's even going to be taken out by the tanks as disable comes off of cooldown. That one tank is also forfeit. AresRush with the much cleaner Raven control.
Yeah, exactly. Does take down the tank, and with that, that's all the energy expended of these Ravens of KnockKnock. And we even have air control here by Ares. A Viking coming in as well, slowly leapfrogging forward. Slowly. Oh my god, he's in range of Stim!
Wow, he is! That is going to be a very massive cancel over here if he's able to take it out. AresRush, of course. Stim is just about going to be finishing up for him. He can decide to take a risk if he so wants to with his Marines, but there's no real need for him to do so. Oh my lord, he's even in range of that reactor.
Yeah, and
reactor on that starport.
And the tech lab was taken down, so that means there is no Stim. And without Stim, how the hell do you go down this ramp? How the hell do you engage with this?
Well, not with only one Raven, I can tell you that much, Late. Everything's coming up AresRush for now. He may even be able to get this building to start burning.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of offensive auto turrets thrown down as well on top of the tanks. What looks like one of the Ravens is going to get picked up. Oh my god, somehow it's... It does get...
Marine from the ground.
Exactly. No one expects it. But again, Ares, like, they've already more than paid for themselves. They've already achieved so much more than they ever really should have.
Yeah, KnockKnock is going to be able to sneak out that orbital command and land it now, but behind all of this, AresRush is already saturating his third base.
Yeah, the third is...
workers.
Yeah, the third is up and running. My god, the starport is even on fire as well. It could even burn down. Meanwhile, a little bit of a something slight to take note of is that Stim was never restarted here for KnockKnock. It looks like it kind of slipped his mind. Maybe he didn't notice that it got denied.
Yeah, hard to blame him here. You know, his entire early game has been completely frazzled. This tank will get taken out by the auto turrets, and the tanks of AresRush, even picking off what few Marines KnockKnock has left. GG is called, and AresRush takes game number 1 very cleanly. Again, very similar styles coming up from both of these players, but yeah, AresRush definitely proved himself to be the more experienced of the two.
Definitely. GG, well played. What a performance there by Ares or AresRush. Very solid, I would say. I was about to check the units lost tab, and I was kind of afraid to. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he lost a single tank that game.
You may be right on that one. I did leave
Yeah.
the game a little early, but now I'm looking at the army value graph, and AresRush has like 1 or 2 dips
Yeah.
towards the end there. And they aren't major dips either.
Exactly.
So,
like one of those
yeah,
dips
I think
is
you're
probably
right on that one.
Yeah, like him losing the Raven and maybe some Marines as well. Like, oh god, very well performed there. But of course, this is not out. It's not over here for KnockKnock. He still can make a comeback happen. What I will say is, again, up until that kind of big engagement, he was kind of keeping up with his opponent. Like, you know, it wasn't as one-sided until it really came down to, I would say, probably even the Raven control.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you on that. Of course, there were little things here and there that KnockKnock was losing earlier on, like his initial push out with the Reapers and Hellions, the Cyclone as well, but, you know, nothing too major.
Oh boy, and we'll see if he's going to be able to come back here as we are getting ready for game number 2. Looks like it will be on Hardwire. And also I want to give a bit of a shout out to AresRush as well, as we do have a Taiwanese stream joining us. This always makes things confusing, because I don't know if you noticed, Yaku.
Yep.
But like...
there is a clan Rush, but there's also... But Rush is also part of the name, apparently. But there is a clan Rush, and then, you know, we have AresRush here, and also Azure has Rush as part of his name, so it's AresRush,
yes,
who is casting AresRush right now.
And on top of that, AresRush is on Team Naive Dreamworld in-game.
Yep.
So it's like, what is even happening? I don't know.
But he still has Rush as part of his name. It's like, oh yeah.
So I guess that's just part of his ID? I don't know.
Well, regardless, we are going to be jumping into game number 2 now of these open qualifiers, first round thingy thing, so-and-so. And here at the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we of course have a teal Terran player coming out from the land of Taiwan. I've just got confirmation here that he is going to be representing Kasumin FC. Goal! We have KnockKnock.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Taiwanese Terran player himself, this time being red, representing Naive Dreamworld. It is AresRush. AresRush.
Ares.
Mate, there's Ares, and then there's Brazilian Ares, and there's also Taiwanese Ares. Like,
well, that's where it comes down to the pronunciations, right? So we have Ares, or Ares, who is the Malaysian / Singaporean player on our very own clan.
Yep.
We have Ares, Ares,
yeah,
who is a Brazilian Terran player. They all play Terran too. That's the confusing thing. And now we have Ares from Final Fantasy. Ares, yeah. It's Ares and Ares.
Yeah.
So we differentiate.
God damn it. We thought Hero was the problem, but nah, mate, it's Ares. I didn't even know.
Remind me of how many heroes there are.
Neo.
How many Phoenixes there are.
Yeah, how many Neos, mate?
Neos.
Ugh. Aye. But we'll see how things go here, as we just see a bit of an SCV scout. KnockKnock with a bit of a more peculiar SimCity here. Does deny the scout, does keep his build hidden. We can see that nothing too crazy is going on, but Ares for the time being is in the dark.
Yeah. KnockKnock as well, not really being able to sneak in with that SCV. Oh. Nice control here from AresRush. Very swiftly dodging the KD8 charge, and look at that!
Oh my god. And just like that, KnockKnock is being punished for not going for that SCV scout. Looking at his vision, he has seen nothing this game. Obviously, we can see that it's a standard opener with the CC on the low ground, but, you know, he has no idea.
Yeah, look at that. Now he's checking around the peripheries of his bases because he just doesn't know. He doesn't know if Ares is making that mistake again. If Ares is going for a proxy of some kind, or even some kind of one-base build.
Yeah, exactly. At least he's going to be able to avoid the Reapers of his opponent, so despite having the lower Reaper count, he will sneak out across the map. But that also means that the Reaper isn't here at home to defend. Cyclone is still a ways away. These two Reapers are going to get a lot of work done.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue of going for a reactor first instead of popping up some Marines. Two SCVs already going down, and Ares not really having much trouble with dealing with the Reaper on his side of the map. Starport gets delayed. 6 SCVs in total get taken out. Even the Cyclone getting a little bit bruised. This is a pretty rough start for our teal player, to say the least.
Yeah, it just really goes to show how much things can snowball here in a mirror matchup, right? You lose one Reaper early on, suddenly, hey, now I can send 2 Reapers across the map into your mineral line, and you have nothing to defend. Unfortunately, the Marines were a little bit late, the Cyclone was still a ways off, and Ares has a pretty comfortable worker lead now. Ares even.
Yeah. It's confusing. And we do see that he is going to be the player switching things up a little bit here. Now, I do like that KnockKnock is going for a double Cyclone just to be a little bit safer, but they do have to be in position for this. AresRush wants to go for a very early tank drop.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The medevac is zooming out across that. Meanwhile, the Cyclones of KnockKnock are moving out as well. He will get a lock on this Cyclone, and he should be able to win this. No, he doesn't get high ground vision.
Didn't get the high ground vision, which broke the lock on. AresRush just takes it out, and the Cyclone doesn't even intercept the medevac here. Oh man, there are a couple of Marines, but what are 2 Marines gonna do against 4 Marines and a tank?
They're gonna die, mate. The tank gets in. We're gonna see a siege up as well. We do have a defensive tank here for KnockKnock, and Ares actually decides not to siege up. He will snipe that tank of KnockKnock.
Yeah, I think it's a better call to take here. For AresRush. Resets his opponent's tank count and doesn't really, risk losing too much himself. He makes it out with his own tank. He can use that, bring that home defensively, or use that to harass again. Plus, I forgot that Cyclone was still alive, man, and so did KnockKnock.
His own Cyclone also went across map, so once again they did miss each other, but KnockKnock is the one who's struggling a little bit more with those units. He will finally clean this up, but not before losing 5 SCVs, and the drop is still not dealt with, Yaku.
It is not, but with the amount of units that KnockKnock does have out here now, it shouldn't bother him too much more. I say that, but, it's a little bit, it's mostly just a consolation at this point. AresRush has 10 more workers than KnockKnock at the moment.
Oh, yeah, it looks like finally, mate, nice pickoff. The drop does get cleaned up, and KnockKnock does have a Banshee across the map. So there's a lot resting on the weight of the shoulders of this Banshee. Can he get too much damage done? There is a Banshee, there are some Marines, no stim in sight. So with good enough micro, yeah, he's getting a couple of FCVs.
Yeah, and I'm liking this for KnockKnock as well. He didn't waste his money on Cloak or whatever. His Banshee is on a mission to do nothing but kill probes. And slowly he's evening things out a bit.
Yeah. Mate, I mean,
Very nice control, actually.
This Banshee has 6 kills. That's soon to be 7. Like, this is well worth it here. It doesn't even things up, but this is, keeping KnockKnock in the game right now.
Yeah, and AresRush is forced to utilize a little bit of his Raven energy on these auto turrets. 8 SCVs get taken out here from the side of AresRush, so yeah, he's evening out the economy, and he is, delaying Ares' follow-up push by just that little much more.
Exactly. Imagine this game if Ares did have, a 10+ worker lead. So, KnockKnock able to stabilize a little bit. I say a little bit because he's still behind when it comes to the tank count, behind when it comes to the Raven count. Like, a big fight, it's gonna be tough for him.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure about this light. I mean, I guess KnockKnock does have the army advantage, and for now, but it's like you said, these Ravens still have a couple of auto turrets on them.
Oh my god, meanwhile, KnockKnock shoots first, but Ares ends up sieging first instead. No, the tanks are in range!
Tanks of KnockKnock well in range of the tanks of AresRush. That aerial superiority definitely doing all it can to keep the Ravens at bay as well. AresRush, it looked a little bit shaky for him for a little while, but I mean, in the end, KnockKnock just bit off more than he could chew.
Yeah, exactly. At least he was able to intercept the army, and, I'm sure Ares wanted to push out across the map, and instead he was deflected. So at least KnockKnock is able to, again, continue on in this game. But unfortunately, Ares does have his 3rd base on the way. He's getting it fully saturated. Upgrades on the way as well. Finally, Stim is researched.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that, yeah. Ares being the first player to finish up his stim and gonna have a significant lead on 1-1-2. No, 1-1 as well, not, you know.
And probably 2-2 as well,
Not
to be
1-1-2.
honest. I mean.
Yeah.
God, we don't see any NG bays. Oh, sorry, the NG bays have been thrown down here for KnockKnock, but the upgrades are a little bit delayed. I don't blame him. Again, like, there are kind of other priorities going on. Decent spread here with his Marines. He's able to scout the army, but even though he sees it, can he stop it?
I have my doubts, to say the least, Light. He does have 2 very high energy Ravens, so a couple of auto turrets can definitely do a lot to equalize the firepower here, but we'll see. He doesn't have the air superiority, but he does get some disables off on these Ravens.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it quite a bit, but he still doesn't quite have an answer to all these tanks.
Oh god, exactly. He does have a little bit of a repair, and he does have the defender's advantage, so a couple of reinforcements are coming up, but in come those Ravens of Ares.
Yeah, both sides are going to be losing their Ravens. I say that, but Ares actually does have 1 Raven remaining. Again, just goes to show you how important it is to have that aerial superiority.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way for KnockKnock to really edge ever closer with his own tanks. He's going to be bringing his tanks here from his main base, or at least he should. There's a reason why. I was like, he's not that far behind in the tank count. What's going on? Well, I mean, he's trying to cover his main base as well, and because of that, his frontal force is that much weaker.
Yeah, he is so vulnerable to drops here. I would say that he's even still vulnerable to drops on top of these tanks. You know, he doesn't really have much anti-air going on here to prevent the double medevac drop coming into his base. Air is losing a little bit here, but he is more than fine with this. You know, he's kind of using as little as possible to maintain this front line while he sets up for his drop.
Yeah, and there we go. The drop does get into the main base. He will land on top of one of these tanks. Tank will go down. Do you have a couple more reinforcements coming in from that natural base? It looks like KnockKnock should have enough to clean this up.
Yeah. It's a lot of Marines here. Ares definitely underestimated the production capabilities of KnockKnock. When it comes to the defense, there are still tanks right outside his base, which is tricky to deal with, but now he's got a Liberator out, and Ares is on the back foot. He has been able to contain KnockKnock on 2 bases for a hell of a long time, though. He is securing his 4th base right now.
Oh my god, the 4th is done. The reinforcements are on the way as well. He just wasn't reinforcing across the map. He was just banking up everything at home, and here comes that production wave. He was able to keep one of the Ravens alive from earlier on, and it just goes to show that, like, the power of a 3rd, right? Like, KnockKnock only just now landing his 3rd CC. He's so far behind in that supply, and now Ares, mate, he's coming in.
Yeah, he's trying to set up an angle here just in case there's C-Shop tanks. KnockKnock sees this coming his way. The Liberator, unfortunately, getting sniped before it can do much. The Raven, with its dying breath, lands an anti-armor missile on top of all of these Marines, and there's just not a whole lot, it seems, that KnockKnock can do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he just doesn't have the tanks here. He's spread so thin between all of his bases, and Ares is just going to keep on pushing forward, leapfrogging forward with his own tanks, getting on top of that natural base.
Yeah, he's trying to bait a couple of these Marines into tank range if he can. This is, yeah, man, this is, a slow choke out.
Yeah, it's oppressive, mate. The amount of tanks that are here from earlier as well. I mean, there were a couple of moments where KnockKnock, he was able to deal with a couple of drops here and there, but when it comes to this main engagement, he just doesn't have what he needs. He doesn't have any Vikings anymore, he doesn't have any air superiority, and there's just no way for him to save that natural.
Yeah, he's gonna go for a little bit of a Hail Mary here with these Marines. I think let's go from 2 angles on these tanks.
Yeah. He's thinking about it. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's going across the map instead.
Oh. Alrighty then, a base race isn't... I mean, I get the idea behind it, right? I get the idea behind it. He knows that Ares has dedicated a lot of his forces to the front line, so he might not have that much to defend, but as observers, we know different. We know that Ares does have plenty of defenses back home.
Yeah, I mean, mate, look at this. Look at the reinforcements. Oh my god, he's got so many Marines back at home. Planetary, sorry, 5th base is cancelled, but the Planetary stands strong. In come the rest of the Bio Army. GG gets called. And Ares takes game 2.
Yeah, pretty good showing here from KnockKnock, all things considered, but in the end, just not quite on that same level of experience as a player like AresRush.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's kind of the way we expected things to go. But
Yeah,
I
I
hope
get it.
but I hope KnockKnock doesn't feel a little too deterred from that. Like again, he's been here season after season, and I hope he's able to learn from this. And again, this is not the last we've seen from KnockKnock. I'm sure we're still going to see him plenty of times in future DreamHacks and even in Master Swan Open.
I was gonna say, that's about a week from now.
Yeah.
Hope he'll be able to, pick himself back up and continue to wow us over there. Or, also, in the second Open Qualifier 2 days from now.
Yeah, exactly. There are multiple qualifiers to this. This is only qualifier number 1, so everyone who gets knocked out here will have another chance. And speaking of another chance, we are going to be moving on in this bracket to a very juicy series. We were talking about it before. Ares goes up against Nazin.
Yeah, it is going to be another TvT here, but not quite the same Taiwanese TvT that I think a lot of us are going to be expecting. A very methodical kind of tank versus tank battle splitting up on the map. Not if Nazin has anything to say about that. He is... I don't want to call him the wild card, but that's pretty much what he is in Taiwan.